The Samsung mission statement is to inspire the world with our innovative technologies, products, and design that enrich people's lives and contribute to social prosperity by creating a new future. Samsung was founded in 1938. Initially, they participated in food processing, textiles, insurance, securities, and retail. It wasn't until the late 1960s that Samsung entered the electronics industry. In the 1970s, Samsung conducted its first initial public offering, became number one in the global black and white TV market. In the 1980s, the founder, Lee Byung-chul, died, and the company was split up into four groups: Samsung Group, Shinsegae Group, CJ Group, and Hansol Group. Developed the first integrated circuits for analog clocks, Samsung Semiconductor and Telecommunications was merged with Samsung Electronics. In the 1990s, Samsung aggressively globalized its activities, specifically mobile phones and semiconductors, developed the world's first 64M DRAM, 256 megabyte DRAM, 1 gigabyte DRAM, developed world's first CDMA mobile phone, developed world's first mobile phone with TV capability, mobile phone with MP3 capability, watch phone, began mass production of the world's first digital TV, and became number one in the global large-sized LCD market. In the 2000s, Samsung released the world's first DVD combo player, became number one in the global TV market, released the world's first Blu-ray player, and developed the world's first 4 gigabyte DDR3 DRAM. Since 2010, Samsung began mass-producing the world's fastest DRAM, including world's first universal flash drive storage device with up to 256 gigabyte capacity, debuted world's first cinema LED screen, brought QLED TVs and the frame to global markets. As of 2017, Samsung has the sixth highest global brand value. Samsung operates with offices in 6 of the 7 continents. Also, they employ 320,671 employees in 73 countries. Products currently with number one market share are televisions, mobile phones, smartphones, memory, display drivers, SIM cards, digital signage, and refrigerators. There are 34 research and development centers, 7 global design offices, and Samsung is the world's 5th largest exporter. Samsung accounts for roughly 15% of South Korea's economy, the country's largest individual company. Considered one of South Korea's chaebols, which is a large family-controlled conglomerate that has dominated the economy for decades. Samsung represents nearly 30% of the country's composite stock price index, more than a quarter of the entire index. As of 2017, Samsung has nearly 100,000 employees at their headquarters in Seoul, South Korea. Samsung's services are broken down into 3 main categories: consumer electronics, IT and mobile communications, and device solutions. The following 3 slides showcased Samsung's products since the early 1970s. Professor Geert Hofstede conducted one of the most comprehensive studies of how values in the workplace are influenced by culture. He defines culture as the collective programming of the mind distinguishing the members of one group or category of people from others. The Hofstede model of national culture consists of 6 dimensions. The cultural dimensions represent independent preferences for one state of affairs over another that distinguish countries, rather than individuals, from each other. The 6 dimensions are power distance, individualism, masculinity, uncertainty avoidance, long-term orientation, and indulgence. This slide shows you the Hofstede analysis between South Korea and the United States. Under the power distance dimension, South Korea is a slightly hierarchical society. Centralization is popular. In the United States, everyone is unique. Everyone has similar opportunities for upward mobility. Under individualism, considered a collectivist society, South Korea has a commitment to the member group. In the United States, liberty and justice for all. Explicit emphasis on equal rights across the board for all. In masculinity, in South Korea, which is considered a feminine society, focuses on working in order to live and well-being. In the United States, however, it's extremely competitive in a many variety of activities, and winning is very important. Uncertainty avoidance. In South Korea, they have rigid codes, beliefs, and behaviors that are maintained. Innovation may be avoided. In the United States, acceptance of new ideas and innovation is key. Not a lot of rules or emotional expression. Long-term orientation. In South Korea, it's very pragmatic and a long-term country. People live by virtues and good examples. In the United States, it's not very pragmatic. Question everything for the truth. Immediate results are important. Indulgence. In South Korea, a country exhibiting much restraint and tendencies toward cynicism and pessimism. In the United States, they work hard and they play hard. If you want it, go get it. On you.
So the next thing that we're going to look at is a steep analysis. So what is a steep analysis used for? A steep analysis is used to look at the externalities that may come into play for a company. In this case, since we are looking at Samsung, it is in their home country. So what does this analysis tell us about Samsung's home country? Here we are going to look at each of the components: social, technological, economical, environmental, and political. To start with, let's look at the social. South Korean society is a homogeneous one. This means in layman's terms that there is not a very diverse population of people with different backgrounds. Almost the entire country is of Korean descent. The total population of Korea stands around 50 million, and Seoul is the largest urban center in Korea. Seoul is also one of the largest cities in the world. Most Koreans live in an urban environment. The people of South Korea are highly educated, and this is a main focus within their culture. Koreans also have a universal healthcare system for its population. Some of their more cultural items are that of K-pop and film. There are more Korean films being made, and they are focused on Korean culture. Koreans also value politeness and respect for their elders. Under technological, Korea is home to two of the world's leading technological companies, Samsung and LG. Because of this, it is no wonder that almost all Koreans have smartphones or tablets on them at all times. Most Koreans have high-speed internet as well. Koreans have also been making advancements in robotics. Now, next, looking at their economy, some of the largest exports of the country are in semiconductors, petrochemicals, auto, and ships, wireless communication equipment, flat screen displays, and computers. South Korea's largest trading partner for both exports and imports is China. About 1/5 of their exports and imports are done with China. Currently, the annual growth is about 2.8% and per capita purchasing power of about $34,000 US. Under environmental, they have some challenges, but the climate is fairly temperate with more rain occurring in the summer, and the winters can get cold. The country is that mostly of hills and mountains with some coastal plains in the west and south of the country. Some of the current issues are air pollution in the larger cities, acid rain, and water pollution from the industrial effluents and sewage. Politically, the South Korean government is a democratic one and is split into 3 branches of government similar to the US: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. Their current legal system is a mixture of European civil law, American law, and Chinese classical thought. And for citizenship, it is not by birth, but descent only. So the next analysis is a SWOT analysis. This is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a company. So what is the SWOT used for? The SWOT is another strategic tool. It helps focus on the different aspects of a project, effort, or in our case, a company, Samsung. By doing this type of analysis and being honest with the company at hand, it can help drive forward changes that need to be made and continue what is being done well. Now we will go over each part of the analysis. The strengths is that Samsung has a well-known brand and marketing power. They have excellent R&D, creating new products that innovate, products that are interconnected to create a whole environment and highly efficient manufacturing capabilities. Some of their weaknesses are that they have high prices for their phones and tablets and televisions, many dependent on the Western nations for sales. They also have a multitude of products and cannot focus on a single product type to show a core competency. They are also highly dependent on Google's Android OS. Some of the opportunities that are bound for them are the Chinese and African markets. Partnering with banks and banking networks to create a single mobile paying device will also be helpful. Also, their opportunities are in ethical challenges, which will be discussed in more detail later. Some of the threats that are facing Samsung are competitors taking away market share with new devices. There is also now potential tariffs and currency exchange fluctuations.
Hello everybody, my name is Miguel Cardenas and I will be doing Samsung's CSR strategy and ethical challenges. The first thing we're going to start with is Samsung's ethical credo. According to Samsung's website, they are committed to devote our human resources and technology to create superior products and services, thereby contributing to a better global society. Samsung's business ethics is to create a fair, clean, and transparent corporate culture. Okay, so next we're going to talk about how Samsung is ethical. Samsung has aligned itself with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These goals champion fighting poverty, challenging inequality, tackling climate change, and ensuring no person is left behind. It's important to note that these goals are strictly voluntary, but it's easy to see that a global company like Samsung will benefit being a part of it. Samsung also has a complete comprehensive ethics website where you investigate corporate standards as well as report wrongful practices. Samsung's values are people, excellence, change, integrity, and co-prosperity. The picture here is actually a picture from the Samsung website. It depicts how Samsung wants to be seen as far as sustainable practices is going. They do a pretty good job from their website's point of view. So, despite claims and efforts of being ethical and transparent, reports about Samsung do paint a different story. Here are some of Samsung's ethical challenges. In 2014, Samsung was cited by the China Labor Watch in two of its subcontracting companies. The citations include child labor on 2 separate occasions, excessive overtime over 100 hours per month, 12 to 13 hours on feet per shift, staff not trained on occupational safety and chemical product handling, unpaid wages, and difficult re-signing due to loss of compensation. So to elaborate more on Samsung hasn't been 100% ethical. In 2000, Samsung knowingly allowed its workers to be exposed to harmful chemical products without workers' knowledge, fearing competitors would learn their trade secrets. 76 workers have died. The report states that Samsung treated these workers like disposable cups. 200 other employees have since been diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, multiple sclerosis, and other illnesses. Parents of one deceased worker even stated that they offered $914,000 in exchange for his silence. That there is a picture of the gentleman's father who sits outside of Samsung in protest. And one more thing. In 2016, Samsung had a cell phone exploding crisis with its Galaxy Note 7. To add injury to insult, Samsung was replacing these exploding phones with phones that had the same potential to explode as well. Reports soon followed that the replacement phones were catching on fire as well. Samsung has since corrected the problem, and the lady you see there is actually holding 2 phones of hers that have exploded, and she had 2nd and 3rd degree burns that were both treated on. Next, we're moving on to Samsung's market entry strategy and marketing strategies. This is a picture of Samsung's Vision 2020. It speaks to the goals and directions of the company's plans ongoing in the next few years. The takeaways are they are expanding to many technology sectors from information to healthcare. Samsung wants to be everywhere. Next, we're going to move into the 4 P's of Samsung, their marketing strategy. First, we're going to go into the product. Samsung sells a wide variety of products which they leverage to their favor. This includes appliances, TVs, cell phones, etc. One of their main leverages of their products is that they are compatible with each other and have similar interfaces, so they can be easily understood by customers once they are familiar with one Samsung product. They are known in the electronics industry to be reliable, quality, and innovative. Some of the firsts of Samsung include the first plasma TVs, the first curved screen cell phone and TV, first MP3 phone, and the first Blu-ray. The next one we're going to go into is the price. Samsung skims pricing to undercut competitors. They offer promotions, discounts, and other techniques. When compared to Apple's iPhone, their goal is to provide a product with similar or better technology but with a better price. Eventually, their theory is that this will in turn steal customers away from competitors. Next, we're going to talk about the place. Samsung uses a distribution strategy of channel marketing where they can sell their product anywhere they want. This is opposed to Apple's iPhone, where they can sell only in its stores, website, and chosen retailers. Some retailers are even bound to include Samsung on their list of inventory products. Samsung also has the ability to saturate the market because of previous relationships they have had with retailers. This enables them to expand in these retailers easily with new products. That is a picture of the CEO of Best Buy and Samsung. In the early 2000s, Samsung invested heavily in Best Buy, as Best Buy at the time was the #1 big box retailer. It has paid dividends for them. The promotion of Samsung. They use a variety of promotions from local to international events. They have also been the sponsor of the Olympics since 1988, when the company decided to take a leap from being local to a global electronics company. They also sponsor worldwide festivals, the NBA, NFL, college football, and even Jay-Z. Samsung also likes to use a diverse mix of celebrities and popular figures in their commercial. That is a picture of one of their most popular commercials. It has Lionel Messi, Eddie Lacy, John Lawrence, and Fabian Cancela. The promotion garnered 51 million YouTube views and was considered a huge success. The marketing entry strategy of Samsung. Growth and development are hallmarks of Samsung's marketing strategy. They have a vast portfolio of innovative products that in turn has created a need for its products due to its products maximizing life's comforts. As mentioned before, they will skim prices to undercut competitors and steal customers. Samsung also wants to be very visual in many places, which leads them to sponsor in a wide variety of places. In 2005, they became the world's largest consumer electronics brand and the largest technology company in the world. And they have 18.5% of share of TVs sold in the world and 20% of the cell phone market as of 2016. So Samsung supply chain. They have 6 mobile phone manufacturing facilities in 6 countries, in Vietnam, China, India, Brazil, Indonesia, and Korea. But they also take parts shipped from around the world. Their TV production company is actually in Tangulong in south of Seoul, Korea. That's the picture you see right there, and it produces all the Samsung's TVs. So Samsung's budget and forecasting. First, we'll talk about the budget. Samsung has a $92.92 billion US dollar brand value as of 2017. They also have $50 billion in USD in operating profit, and they spend $15.79 billion on research and development. For their forecasting, according to Reuters, Samsung posted record profits in 2017, but they were actually not as high as estimated. They are not as bullish on 2018 profits due to increased smartphone competition in China, but there is some optimism as the Galaxy 9 is expected to do slightly better than previous versions of the Galaxy.